welcome back to Meet the Authors. For our third segment tonight, I'm happy to introduce Linda McClary-Martin, who's going to be presenting her new book, The Secret of God. This is an amazing story that we're going to hear all about tonight, about how she was inspired to write the book and how her belief in God changed her life, how it changed her attitude toward a very unhappy situation that most people could not get over. So, Linda, thank you for coming.
It's so good to be here.
It is good to have you, too. And to me, I just want to start right off with the inspiration for this book because it's like a famous name. Tell me it was like an Oprah Winfrey event, and this is what I want to hear about.
True. I used to record Oprah's show, and she would always, often, introduce new books, new authors.
Like me.
Like you, yeah. Just like you. And she had a book called The Secret. Mm-hmm. I don't recall the author, but I know that it, everything that she introduced became a big hit and things that people like to talk about. So the young women in my life and the women I worked with were really taken by this book. And so I read it, and I knew that it was partially true, mm-hmm. but it wasn't 100% true. It was the law of attraction was basically the foundation for this book, and I knew that was fleeting.
The law of attraction, as in the attraction between men and women, like a first.
No, the law of attraction in that you draw things to you by mental attitudes.
Like a karma.
Yes, yes. And I knew there was truth there, and everybody was rallying around this half-truth. And I knew that there was more. And I knew there was something that needed to be more lasting. And and I grumbled in my prayer time about it because I knew it needed to be set straight. And I didn't know how. And so after grumbling about it for a while, one night when I was praying, I just felt like he said, then if you're not happy with it, why don't you fix it? Mm-hmm. And I said, well, I can't unless you help me. And so that started the path. And my husband will tell you, I'd come home from work and I'd sit at the computer for hours and it would just pour out of me. And
more than 90 words.
More than 90
yes.
a day. But that lasted for several months, and then I stopped and I quit. Just like the previous author said, you just get to a place where you think, nobody's going to listen to this, nobody's going to read it, I'm wasting my time. And my husband got in my face and said, oh no, you're going to finish this. And I did.
And you did, and it's an amazing book. It's very pretty, and it has references to the Bible and past histories, and it's really a very worthwhile book for us to read. So tell us about the other aspect that I mentioned earlier that you were talking to me, as how it changed your relationship to your son-in-law.
My youngest daughter was going through a very ugly divorce. And she had 2 children, and it was a really ugly custody battle. And there were things that a mother doesn't like to see going on with their daughter and their grandchildren. And it was ongoing. This took place over several years. And so I started really hating him. Now, I'm a Christian, and that doesn't balance with my relationship with God, but I had no other emotion. And but I decided that I would will myself to forgive him. But I knew in myself that I couldn't. It's easy to love people that are good and that you enjoy.
It's wonderful, and the inspiration of this book, and you told me, really changed your attitude.
It did, absolutely.
Take a moment now to read from your book. We have about 45 seconds left, so give us a little passage.
Okay. Music of the heart, Ephesians 5:19. Speaking to one another in psalms and hymns and spiritual songs, singing and making melody with your heart to the Lord. Do you know that your hearts make music that we cannot hear? Yes, it's true. When we seek to worship our Savior With our motive focused on blessing Him and Him alone, our hearts make music that only He can hear. When a group of believers get together and enter into genuine, pure-hearted worship, the music our hearts make becomes a beautiful harmony to His heart. Things that mute the music in our heart are selfish ambition, anger, unforgiveness, and pride. These dishonor the Spirit and distort the connection between us and Him.
That's a lovely passage. Tell the people where you can get your book.
You can order it from Amazon.com or Barnes & Noble. It's published by Crossover Publications out of Jackson, Mississippi. And unlike your other orders today, I am not been writing since I was a child, but I'm from Mississippi, and so it's in our blood. It's the law. We have to do it.
Absolutely. Mississippi Writers, thanks so much for coming.
My pleasure.
Go to my website, drdreams.com. You can pick up any of my books or any of our guests' books. All the guests have been invited to put their books on my website and get them directly from there. Mississippi Gulf Coast and Neighboring Sites Anthology contains a collection of 25 essays about the history and tourist attractions across Mississippi's Gulf Coast. Features include the Round Island Lighthouse, Mary Mahoney's Old French House, Beauvoir, and the Friendship Oak. Read about the history of the Bellingrath Gardens and now defunct Si's Place, where Elvis Presley and Hank Williams performed. Only $10 at www.drdreams.com.